Hello, today we're going to present our Math Everywhere project based on the Gompertz model. Okay, so what is the Gompertz model? What it does, it basically describes growth as being slowest in the start and ending in a given time period. This model is used in multiple sectors as it can describe any natural or artificial phenomenon that spreads slower at the beginning and then ends at a given time period. Some examples of its use can be in spreads of diseases, growth of tumors, sales of accessories, or even the growth of price in different products and the beginning of trends. However, today we're going to focus its use on the current relevant case of COVID-19.
A real situation in which the Gompertz model has been used was in the James Bond movie No Time to Die, which was supposed to come out in April 2020, but due to the outbreak it didn't, because obviously for this kind of movie the audience is key to revenue, especially because they spent $250 million to produce this movie. So they decided to use the Gompertz model in order to make sure that they knew when it would be appropriate to release the movie. And so they did. In calculating it, they thought that it would be appropriate to change the movie date release for April 2021.
Okay, so how did they do to analyze when was a good moment to postpone the date? Well, for that, they did the following model, which is the Gompertz model. As we can see here, we're using the values. A represents the total amount of people that are affected by the virus. Here we're using 100 as a percentage, as 100% of the people infected. Then for B, we're using a number that was deciphered by scientists to more or less show the growth of COVID. And in C, we're using 0.05. That is also an estimate of how fast viruses change. This number changes according to different viruses and different illnesses. And as we can see, more or less, this time, this is measured in weeks. More or less, we could say that this was when they decided to do the model, and we can calculate it a year and some months before, approximately 60 weeks or so, was a moment in which they could have seen that the time was that not so many people had the virus anymore, and they decided to change the date to April, approximately a year and some months after they did the model. So that's how you use the Gompertz model, and that's how they chose to change the release date.
Okay, so at the end, the company, Eon Productions, decided that it was better for them to postpone the launch for a year. So they postponed the launch until April the 2nd of 2021. The reason was that they wanted to maximize the clients and its sales, as they thought that it wasn't a good idea to release this movie during the pandemic, and it was better to wait until after the pandemic was over.